Happy birthday to legendary singer and member of the Jackson 5, Randy Jackson. It's X-Men 1991 coming to you back again with another sports topic. But before I get into that, I got some breaking news. I know you all heard the news last night, and it shocked the whole world, especially fans of the TV show Friends. This shit was completely unexpected. Actor Matthew Perry, who's best known for his role as Chandler Bing on the NBC sitcom Friends, died unexpectedly yesterday at the age of 54. His assistant and his friend found him dead in his jacuzzi at his crib. No drugs or alcohol were involved around the time of his death. Oh my God. This shit was completely unexpected. 2 years ago, he and the rest of the cast members of Friends have reunited for a Friends reunion special on HBO Max. Last year, he wrote a book called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. He was sober for the past 2 years. This is the second cast member of Friends that has died. 2 years ago, James Michael Tyler, who played Gunther on Friends, died from cancer at the age of 59. Now, 2 years later, Matthew Perry is gone. My prayers and condolences goes to his family, and I know the rest of the cast members, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, they've all got to be heartbroken that one of their co-stars is gone. Watching Friends will never be the same again. And I want to know how they're going to celebrate the show's 30th anniversary next year without Matthew Perry. That is a good question. So before we do a recap of these games, I want to thank Matthew Perry for all the laughs of watching Friends for 10 years between 94 and 2004. It's going to hit different watching the show since he left us way too soon. And to me, 54 is way too young. He didn't even make it to see 55. That's how old he would have been next year. Jennifer Aniston will be 55 next year too. This is just sad. But let's go ahead and bow our heads in a moment of silence for Mr. Matthew Perry. He is definitely going to be missed. August 19th, 1969 to October 28th, 2023. Thank you. First game we're going to do a recap on is yesterday's college football game between the BYU Cougars and the Texas Longhorns. Longhorns outscored the Cougars by 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Then they outscored them by another touchdown in the second while giving up a field goal. Longhorns leads 21-3 at halftime. Longhorns didn't score shit in the third quarter while giving up another field goal, but they would still lead 21-6 after the third quarter. Longhorns outscored the Cougars by 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Final score: Texas Longhorns 35, BYU Cougars 6. The Longhorns are now 7-1 as the Cougars fall to 5-3. The Longhorns' next game is this Saturday, taking on the Kansas State Wildcats. The Longhorns should be 7-0 at this point. If it wasn't for the Oklahoma Sooners scoring that damn touchdown at the last minute 3 weeks ago, the Longhorns would still be undefeated by now. And I heard the Sooners lost their first game to the Kansas City Jayhawks 38-33. So those teams are now even, the Longhorns and the Sooners. But the Longhorns should be 7-0 at this point, if it wasn't for the Sooners. But congrats to the Longhorns for winning another game. They're the number 4 seed in the Big 12. Now let's do a recap of last night's NBA game between the Miami Heat and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Heat outscored the T-Wolves by 5 in the first quarter, 31-26. But they lost by 7 in the second quarter, 29-22. At halftime, Timberwolves 55, Heat 43. The Heat got crushed in the second half, losing by 5 in the third quarter, 25-20. After the third quarter, Timberwolves 84, Heat 73. The Heat lost by 9 in the fourth quarter, 26-17. Final score, Minnesota Timberwolves 106, Miami Heat 90. The T-Wolves are now 1-1 as the Heat fall to 1-2. The Heat goes up against the Bucks in Minnesota tomorrow, or Milwaukee. The player of the game was Minnesota Timberwolves' Naz Reid with 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. Rudy Gobert needed 9 more assists to go with a triple-double, 14 points, 14 rebounds, and 1 assist. Karl Anthony Towns needed 8 more assists to go with a triple-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. And now, it's time to do a recap of another NBA game from last night. The Chicago Bulls versus the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls got crushed in the first half, losing by 3 in the first quarter, 29-26. Then they lost by 10 in the second quarter, 28-18. At halftime, Pistons 57, Heat 44, or Bulls 44. The Bulls made a comeback in the third quarter by 4, 33-27. After 3, Pistons 87, Bulls 77. Pistons 84, and Bulls 77. The Bulls lost by 9 in the fourth quarter, 34-25. Final score, Detroit Pistons 118, Chicago Bulls 102. The Pistons are now 2-1 as the Bulls fall to 1-2. The Bulls are in Indiana tomorrow going up against the Pacers. Cade Cunningham was the player of the game with 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists. He needed 6 more rebounds to go with a triple-double. Jalen Duren needed 5 more assists to go with a triple-double. 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. If the Bulls would have won, Zach LaVine would have been the player of the game. 51 points, 4 rebounds, and no assists. I give the Pistons and the T-Wolves credit because they came to play. A tough loss for the Heat and the Bulls. They're both now 1-2. Keep your heads up, Heat and Bulls. Get y'all shit together and get yourselves ready for tomorrow night against the Bucks and the Pacers. Tonight is the Lakers versus the Kings and the Warriors versus the Rockets. Shout out to Mike Henry, Jaime, and Katie Filer, and the hosts of the Just a Little Shady podcast, Haley, Jade, and Brittany. Their links to their YouTube pages will be in the description down below. If you're new here, hit subscribe and hit that notification bell for my next Bulls, Longhorns, and Heat rant. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave your comment down below. I'll be back later tonight to reminisce 22 years of a street fight rematch between father and son, Vince and Shane McMahon, from the October 29, 2001 edition of Monday Night Raw. Until then, go Texas Longhorns, hashtag Hook'em. Go Miami Heat. And go Chicago Bulls. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No more talk.